Welcome to Eating Secret. Today we are making, for our 12 days of Christmas, I'm going to be making my key lime pie. Whenever we go on holiday to Florida, this is always my favourite dessert, but it's very, very sweet, the American version. So rather than have a crumb base, a graham cracker crumb base, I'm actually going to do a pastry base. And if you have Aldi, this isn't an Aldi pastry, but the Aldi pastry is really, really nice. I just haven't been to Aldi, so I haven't got any. So we've got some shortcrust pastry. We have 4 limes. They're a bit sad, these limes, maybe because they're not in season. 2 tins of condensed milk. We need 6 eggs, and we're going to split them. We're going to use the yolks and we're going to use the whites. I'm going to do a meringue top. So again, I guess meringue has sugar in, so yeah, it's going to be sweet. But with the pastry, it just makes it not as sweet. And you will also need a blowtorch. My blowtorch is very old and very decrepit, but it takes a long, long time to use all of the butane propane gas that's in this container. So it's years and years and years old. I do need a new one. So firstly, let's get those tins opened. So I'm making double the quantity that you would normally make in the UK. The UK just calls for 1 tin of condensed milk and 3 egg yolks. But I'm going to be doing double the quantity because I want it to be as deep as possible, not just a thin layer of the lime. And it's, yeah, probably a funny time of year to do a key lime pie at Christmas, but it's actually very refreshing compared to all the creamier desserts that you'll have. And you can eat key lime pie at all times of the year. So we'll just pop those to one side, and I'm going to split the eggs and the yolks. And I'm just using a cup with quite a sharp edge. Now, I will say I'm definitely not the world's best cook. I don't profess to be as good a cook as I am a soap maker. But I can cook, I'm just not brilliant at it. So I'm not here trying to compete with all the cooks that are on YouTube. I'm literally just showing you how I make this dessert. Now, I actually did buy some graham crackers, and for a 400 gram container of graham crackers, I paid £8, which is probably absolutely crazy. I bet graham crackers in the US for that side are probably only $1 a pack. I don't know. Let us know anyway. How much are they? And I know there's a lot of egg white here for the topping, but I just think it looks really fantastic if you've got a really piled high meringue topping on the top of it. So you need to make sure that your white has no egg yolk in it and no fat whatsoever in the container, because it'll make them very, very difficult to whisk up. So that's our egg yolks, and that is our egg white, all ready to go. So the next step is to roll out your pastry. So I'm going to do that first. And of course, if you're really good, you can make the pastry yourself. So I'm just going to roll out the pastry as thin as I can. It's a little bit slippy. It hasn't been out of the fridge too long, so it'd be better if you leave it. Now then, why is it cracking? Probably because it's too cold. Just nip that together where it's cracking. Okay, so then just lift that up and pop it onto your whatever you're going to bake it in. And just gently lift it and then press it down into the corners. If you've got any cracks, just overlap them and squeeze them together, just because you don't want any of the mixture running out onto the base, because that'll make it hard to get out of the container. Now, I did actually make a video of me making a key lime pie. I think it probably would have been in 2018, but there was some part of the video that I missed, and it was a beauty. It really did look awesome. So I was gutted. So I do have baking beans, but as usual I have no idea where they are, so I'm just going to use rice. So if we just pop, actually before we do that, I'm going to cut not right around the top. I'm just going to remove the excess pastry from further down. and it's sort of like a lemon meringue pie, but the mixture is a bit denser than you get with a lemon meringue pie. A lemon meringue pie, it's more like a jelly that you get. And this is, it's actually quite a unique the lime part is quite unique to look at. It's totally different to a lemon meringue. So we'll just pop that on there, and then we'll get our rice, which is still in the cupboard. And just pour that into the centre. I've forgotten a step, haven't I? And this is a step, I nearly always forget this step. And that's to prong the base with a fork. So just go along and prong the base. It just stops the pastry rising up and becoming thick on the bottom. If you watch Great British Bake Off, you'll notice that they always do this. They're not like me, they don't forget. You know how ridiculous my brain is these days. It seems to have just changed after I've gone through the change. Before that, I could remember everything. You know, if I'd forgotten, not if I'd forgotten, but say I was doing an order for someone and I was short, I could remember what I had, who it was for, what I'd forgotten to put in, how many I'd forgotten to put in, and even the address of the person. I could lock it into my brain so that I didn't forget. But I can't do that now. It's probably a bit like having a baby, how you get that baby brain after you've had a baby, when you just can't remember anything. Right, so this pastry is ready to go into the oven now, and I'm going to leave it in. They would suggest 10 minutes, but I'm going to leave it in for 15 on 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, palette knives come in very, very useful for doing, scraping up any excess flour or anything that's stuck on your table. I prefer using it to a palette knife. So if you're watching the 12 Days of Christmas, you will see later on that I do have a savoury cooking video as well. It's an absolute British classic that I'll be making in a later video, but I'm not going to do all the cooking videos together. I'm just going to split them up so you've got something different every day. And I've actually got rubbing alcohol in this container. It doesn't taste very nice though. I'm joking. I don't drink rubbing alcohol. Right, so that's the work surface ready. So while our pastry case is cooking, we're going to get the limes ready. And we're going to grate the zest of the lime. The zest of the lime? What is it? What do you call it? Where you scrape the peel. These are rubbish, these limes. Absolute rubbish. John got them. So he probably just picked the first bag up he could find. So I'm going to scrape those first. You can get lots of nice flavour off your lime peel. It smells amazing. You could make this with lemons as well. You could probably even do it with oranges. Actually, I might try that sometime. Or even grapefruit. So you just want to be taking off just the outside of the peel, because if you scrape further down, you'll be taking off the white stuff, which isn't very pleasant. And it's the peel that really gives it that zing. Okay, so now we're just going to slice those limes and get all the lime juice. I'm not very strong. I'm hoping my lemon squeezer it's here. But half of it's missing. I'm so organised, aren't I? So I've got one of these. I'll just squeeze the lime in off that. Okay, so we're going to need a whisk for this moment, and we're going to just tip all of that gorgeous condensed milk into a mixing bowl, and same with the other one. It's dead easy. It's such an easy recipe. And then pop all of your egg yolks in there. And then all of your lime juice and lime zest goes in. Aren't these silicone spoons the best invention ever? They're fantastic. In the olden days, you couldn't scrape a bowl out just with an ordinary spoon. But a silicone spoon, you can literally get everything in there. So that's what it looks like. And I'm going to put a bit of vanilla extract in there. I couldn't get any of the Nielsen Massey. But what I noticed, the last time I bought vanilla, I could only get the small Nielsen Massey containers. The 50-gram ones, the larger ones, 110. And the price of it's gone up crazy. I used to be able to get the 110-gram vanilla for £4.50. Now the 50-gram containers $5.75. So I thought I'd try this one. Anyway, I looked online and I thought, oh, Sainsbury's are just way overcharging for vanilla, but I realised maybe there's a shortage of vanilla because the price has more than doubled. Now, this doesn't look anywhere near as rich and dark as the Nielsen Massey version. This is the Taylor and College version. Definitely much paler in colour. So I'm going to turn my blender on now. If you don't want to hear that, just skip to the next part. If you want it to be more tart, you can always put more limes if you prefer it. I'm just going to taste it. It's not very tart actually. I think it does need some more limes, but I haven't got any, so there's nothing I can do. I wonder if I've got any lemons. Okay, so I've got a lot more juice out of the lemons. So I would say the limes, the size I use, you're going to need 8 of those. But I will write that in the description box in the recipe. So you'll have to watch the video. That's much better. Hopefully you watch the video and read the recipe and don't take the 4 limes as gospel. So we're just going to let that sit to one side. We've got our pastry. It's now out of the oven. Just lift the 4 corners up. And then we're just going to leave the pastry to cool, so it's been in a good 15 minutes. I don't know whether that will mean we won't get a soggy bottom, but hopefully we won't get a soggy bottom. And I don't know whether you're supposed to do this while it's warm, but yeah, it's fine. Let's just scrape off the excess pastry here. And then that just makes it, neatens it all up for you. And then I'm just going to let that cool because it is still very warm. Okay, so once that's cool, it's not freezing cold, it's just cooled down a little bit. Just take your mixture and pour it in So you can see how shallow it would have been if I'd done half the quantity. And it actually sets really quick. I think it's about 10-15 minutes, something like that. So I'm going to pop that in the oven just as it is for 10 to 15 minutes. I'll let you know exactly how long it was when I take it out of the oven. Okay, there she's out of the oven and she's set beautifully. See, she just wobbles a little bit. It's a bit stiffer. It's stiffer than jelly. You can see I've started doing my Christmas vegetables there. So now we need to let it cool properly. So it'll cool down for hours and then I'll apply the meringue. We'll do the meringue for the top. Do you like Brussels sprouts? They maybe don't go with key lime pie, but we do like Brussels sprouts in this house. We love fresh veg. I mean, we love lots of other things, but we do like fresh veg rather than frozen. Okay, so we've got helicopter sounds in the background because Declan's just flying his helicopter at the moment. So just pour in your egg white into, I use a stainless steel bowl for this, and then start whisking, and you want to whisk until you've got lovely fluffy peaks. So now we've got lovely fluffy peaks. It's time to add sugar. So we're going to use caster sugar. And you supposedly just add a little at a time, like a tablespoonful at a time. So this is what the frosting looks like when it's all mixed up with the sugar. And we're going to pop it in the piping bag. And then this will go in the oven for another 10 minutes. I know there's loads and loads of meringue here. The but I want it super high because it'll make it look fantastic.
Hello. 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 There we go.
And we're going to fill even more up now because I want it super high.
Are you in spare time?
Of course, if you don't want it so high, you can always make some baked meringues. With the leftovers. And of course the other thing is it'll make a great photograph. And this is the best bit. You take your blowtorch after it's come out of the oven and you just give it a beautiful toasting all the way around. And that, my friends, is Karen's key lime pie. Isn't she beautiful? Happy Christmas, everyone!